and without anybody pushing, poking, and prodding you, right? You end up in the same place, end up as the same person. You just feel like when it's personal development, you didn't have to sacrifice anything. You know what I'm saying? If you ever think about it, when you go to church or you go and they start talking about giving this up, giving it up, sacrificing this, sacrificing that, it's like you don't even want to go. It's like it's like, man, I got to give up all of this stuff, and then you end up again. Somebody tell you, hey, man, look, you make seven figures over here. You know what I'm saying? You just change this a little bit, change that a little bit. Stop doing that, man. Start doing a whole lot of that, and all of a sudden, you voluntarily did that. Yeah, and it ended up being in the exact same place you would have. It's just you just one. It's hard for you to do, based on how it's presented to you. The other one is extremely simple to do based on how it's presented to you. Right, and so the benefit of salvation, right, which is freedom, right, freedom from a lot of different things, is a vague and a long term thing that has no really good benefits in the interim for most people, right? But financial freedom, time freedom, when you start putting it into those perspectives and in those terms, oh man, it's sexy, it's appealing. Oh yeah, I can do that. I'm ready to rock and roll. But I mean, financial freedom, time freedom, peace of mind, yeah, 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 stress freedom. Oh yeah, let's do it. And so it's basically the packaging, guys. So a message is always going to be sent out 100% of the time, but how you package it is the key. Some people can go say, you know what, I'm familiar with the Bible. I was raised around the Bible. I'm okay with that. Let's go ahead and then you can teach me that way. Some people are like, hey, give me some give me some John C. Maxwell, give me some, some Napoleon Hill, give me some, and they'll do it that way, right? But good stuff, Carla. Dr. George.
Good morning, sir. I got to get my double dose of crash camp today because I have
Mm,
30 people converging on my house
mm.
for a barbecue today.
Yeah, you need, yeah, yeah.
Yes, a double dose of crash camp. So, successes this week, we actually hit our peak in leads per day from our Facebook ads at 12 leads in one
Mm,
day. So,
mm,
that's exciting. We're excited about that. And then also this week, I did 4 presentations. One of them said no, but this is a very interesting story as to what the no was and why.
mm, mm,
So, this is a couple I've been working with, and this was their follow up. And so they brought their proposals to me so I can do a comparison. There was no way for me to get them to 100% within their budget because they pay 250 a month. The proposals that they gave me, someone quoted them 157, $157 a month, and another person quoted them $197 a month. And then I broke the math. This couple, the one for 157, they were offering them 50% of what they use now, which means they would have had to pull 50% off of the grid, which meant that they were going to pay $402 a month when both of them were combined.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The second one was actually even less, and they were going to pay $450 a month with the 157 and the other one combined.
Mm,
And I said to them, this is why I start off with solar is not for everyone.
mm-hmm,
And they thanked me.
mm-hmm,
And I said, I'm going to give you guys some time to think. Cause I said, the lowest I can get you to is 253. It's only going to be 80% and you're going to have a battery because you don't have net metering.
mm,
They said, okay, we're going to think about it and we'll get back with you. I booked a follow up with them for Tuesday. And then the husband sent me a message. He said, thank you very much. But what right now, solar is not for us because it's not within our budget range,
mm-hmm.
even though we would qualify. He said, but I think you need to start teaching to homeowners some classes on solar so they can
Mm-hmm.
understand what they're looking at.
You know what?
And then he said,
Hold on, but right there, I 100% agree with him. Go ahead, finish.
and then he said, I pastor a church in Georgia. If
Mm,
any of my constituents are looking for solar, I'm going to refer them to you.
mm. Okay. All right. All right. We got some meat right there.
Some heat right there.
Got
And
some meat right there.
I got that from because I am studying, not just listening to and reading. I am
Mhm,
studying Grant Cardone, The
mhm,
Closer's Survival Guide.
mhm,
And in there, he talks about building your business with integrity. And
mhm.
to me, those other two proposals had no integrity because that couple would have ended up with a larger bill for
Yeah.
their electricity,
Mhm.
even though, you know, someone would have ended up with commission. So another one. I know I'm going long today, sir. I got one
Come
more.
on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come
So
on.
another one is about networking. And well, I hope Sarah talks about the training that she's doing with Joshua. But the other one is networking. So I had two networking calls this week booked out. I'm actually I had five one-on-ones booked, two kept.
Mm,
And the first one, he tried to posture me. Come
mhm,
up, you said you were marketing an opportunity, and I don't know if I'm looking for an opportunity. So I postured right back. I said, so why are we on the call? I said, because I'll tell you why I'm on this call. I'm on this call not to offer you an opportunity. I'm on this call to network with you to find out what you do to see whether or not it's a good fit for my clients and you to find out what I do to see whether or not it's a good fit for any of your clients or anyone within your network.
mhm,
His entire demeanor changed.
mm,
And I would not have postured him like that if I hadn't been on Grant Cardone with you. I would not have postured him if I hadn't gone back and listened to some of the recordings that I did of you when you did three ways.
mhm,
And then the second networking call I have to think of urgency.
mhm,
So I started doing cards to my clients, and I didn't want to have to take the time for us to take the time to have to do it. So I actually got a service to do it.
mhm,
Well, she put me in contact with another Solar Pro, and she did a three-way with the Solar Pro. Again, the power of three ways.
mhm,
And he actually gave me some tips on how to use the card service in light of the potential changes that are coming with solar and how he uses it to get referrals from his clients. It's the power of networking.
mhm,
And you teach I learned all of that right here in Crash Camp, right here in the Foresight family from Idris with solar, from Angel with networking.
mhm,
And I'm excited about applying things more. The faster I learn it, the more I want to apply it because
mhm,
I'm seeing the results. I'm seeing the growth. So I just want to say thank you to you and Mrs. Bean for
mhm.
putting me in an environment and putting my family in an environment to win. And thank you to the Foresight community for constantly giving and giving and giving more and more knowledge that we can apply. Thank you, sir.
No problem. Good stuff. Now, like I said, going back, to the first, and I tell you guys all the time, um, find something that you can specialize in. Get good at a lot of things. Get great at that something. And when you get great at it, guys, you turn around and you turn it into a master class. You turn around and turn it into a course. You turn around and turn it into a podcast, right? Because you got people out there that just putting out content. A lot of it is not great content. A lot of it is not good stuff. They're just giving you some filler. They're just throwing videos up and giving advice on the fly, so they can get their visibility up and mess up the algorithms, right? So when you actually care about, doing business the right way, and you have those type of conversations with people, and people know that they can see your heart in your business, and you have the right heart, these people will come and they will give you business. They will send you business. Okay. And so that's very, very important. So that's a lesson we learn right there. Thank you, son. That's a lesson to be learned right there for everybody. People really do want to be able to trust, people who they're doing business with. Even if you didn't, even if you that didn't make any money off of that, it wasn't about making money. It was about making that contact, because you could have sold somebody a bad system, right? Or you could have sold them a good system and not educate them on it, right? But the fact that you say, hey, look, this may or may not be for you, and let me tell you what I have, and let me tell you why these, I wouldn't do these either, you know, and you educate them. I was like, you know what? That's a good person. I want to do business with that individual. And as a matter of fact, I want other people to do business with this individual. So now I can trust her. I can send people to her, and all of a sudden you become the conduit. So, guess what? You said they're in Atlanta, Georgia.
They're in Georgia.
Guess who's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia, June 21st weekend?
I take it will be you, sir.
That'd be me. So yeah, I'll be doing an event in Atlanta, Georgia on the 21st that weekend. So guess what? You get a chance to invite that pastor out, and he gets a chance to bring people with him because he'll be in the business by then, knowing you. So, good stuff. Like I said, and then, you know, the last part, the last one. Um, oh, don't let people posture you. Because first of all, you have nothing to lose if a person's not in your business already. Okay. And so posture back, double down, and what you do is you bully the buddy, but you do it professionally. All right. And you do it, and I always say you do it in a way where once you check them, once you posture up and you put a person in their place professionally, you do it in a way where they can save face and walk back through the door. Right? You don't want to win the argument and lose the war, because you win the argument and then y'all don't do business. Hey, you lost the war. So you can actually win both, or you can let a person put a person in a position to feel like they didn't lose at all, but they still want to do business with you. Either way it goes, just I always do it respectfully. When I bully a bully, I do it respectfully, right? And I put them in a position where I allow them to be able to walk back in the door, do business with me without feeling funny about it. All right. And so I like the way you did that. Very professional. All right, guys. I see our my partner in crime is on here. So I'll take two more real quick here, and we'll go with Del Boudreaux. We'll do rapid fire. Del Boudreaux.
Hey, yes, sir. So this week was about preparedness and urgency. So if you didn't prepare for everything that's been happening this week, then that's your own fault, because Mr. Bean gave us the system and everything to be prepared for when a new product or something new comes out, or a shift in the company. Like we're gonna go international, whatever. I mean, if you didn't prepare yourself all this time for this, then you lost your mover's advantage, right? I mean, so an urgency. So, man, I had a good friend and a part of this family this week. He went down medically, and we stepping in as a team to help this man out. But if I wasn't prepared, if I didn't stay a leader in this company and I didn't stay attached to Mr. Bean, I can't do this. I can't help that person out. I can't help his family out. Okay. Yeah. And on top of that, here we are with a new product. If I didn't keep the urgency, I can't help him. I can't help his family. So that sense of being prepared and that sense of urgency goes way further than just your business, because your business includes a lot of people. It includes our team. And it includes our business. It includes our company. And here we are on the precipice of major stuff. And if Dale Boudreaux wasn't prepared, or Dale Boudreaux wasn't plugged into his upline with his leadership, I wouldn't be prepared to help these people. So, man, Mr. Bean, I want to thank you, Foresight family, and everybody on here, man, for keeping me prepared to do what we got to do when things like this happen. So, urgency. Let me tell you, this week, that's a major urgency that just got jammed in the Boudreaux. I promise you, man. And so, Mr. Bean, I just want to thank you for that, because without that emotional sophistication over the years that we've developed when things like this happen, we wouldn't know what to do. We literally wouldn't know what to do. But here we are. We're standing right there with them. We know what to do. We know how to move forward with this. And I appreciate everything from everybody, especially you, Mr. Bean, in this situation. Thank you.
No problem. Remember, everybody's in the industry is in network marketing. We're in business, and the business that we're in is one, helping people, and the only way you can help people is by helping yourself first. Right. And so, like Will Smith says, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. And the people who are putting their head down and they're working and running and grinding and really going through the process, the growing through the process, is a better way of saying it. When they're growing through the process, when things happen, they're prepared for it. And that, like I said, that medical situation it's one we're still we're praying for, one we're still out there in the woods and we're praying that the family comes through that situation. But again, just being able to be there for people, console people, or work a person's business while they're down. Think about you having people in your team and something happens to one of those individuals, and nobody in your team or nobody in that team is a leader, nobody in that team, and you're not a builder. What happens to they lose everything. Yeah, think about that for a second. Anything happens to any one of y'all, I can step right in and take care of your business. But what happens if I'm not here? Your business goes away. That's why when we do what we do, if any one of us goes out, and this the way we had this thing set up, if any one of us go down, it's plug and play. It's next man up, next woman up, right? We got trainers all through the group. We have presenters all through the group. We have builders who are willing to do big presentations and trainings, in person and on Zoom. And so uh, you have to build a system, guys, that fortifies everybody in the system, that protects everybody in the system, right? That's how you build something that won't come down. Okay. We're not building just for the day. We're also building it for tomorrow. But right now, when you're building every day and you're exposing every day, you're filling up your pipeline every day. When something comes down the pipeline, guys, and you make that big announcement, that's a shock to all the people who are in your pipeline, right? It says something brand new that they get a chance to add on to all the old stuff. That's something. Now it might be that one thing that pushes them over the edge, right? Like when I put that post up this yesterday, I saw a lot of people like it and stuff like that that didn't like a lot of my past stuff on solar or on water, on whatever it was, but they loved it because it was Web3. It was telecom. It was me talking about on my own on having what we call decentralized internet. So a lot of those people now are interested. I got the attention. I got the eyeballs. Right. I gave them a big announcement. And I'm gonna continue to do the same thing. So when we come up with Omni and with the trading app and software, it's gonna be another thing, another launch, another introduction. For those of you who are just sitting still and not doing anything at all, right? And you are excited about what just happened and what just got launched. Well, what you're doing is now you're trying to introduce people to one thing, right? And then when you tell them about this one thing, and then you try to tell them about everything else, it's a hodgepodge of stuff, and it doesn't come out right, right? And so it's they don't see the excitement about it because they're getting that one big thing that you're excited about with every other thing that you already have, and so it's a mess. Okay, so be presenting and be exposing on a regular basis, be pipelining, filling up your pipeline on a regular basis, so you guys can, be able to impact the lives of people when they, when they see something new come out. Okay, Thomas, like I said, let's get in out real quick so we can so we can knock this out and jump into the training.
Well, this week's win for me was first of all, I got a chance to have a one-on-one with Mr. Bean about some things that I need help with, and Mr. Bean, I thank you for that. It's been available to give me some good advice, and I think it's gonna be a game changer for me. The other thing is networking events is coming really good. I had a chance to do a couple solo presentation with someone from my new networking group and growing the networking group. And the last thing is I was able to sign up a guy that's a finance director for a dealership. I'm focusing on some dealerships a little bit here because I work in the finance arena with dealerships. So how to finance director come on board, did a three-way with Mr. Bean, and got him set up. He's excited. He's rocking and rolling. So I'm really excited about the activity of this week. And And the last thing is I did start back reading Think and Grow Rich. I heard you mention it earlier, Mr. Bede. I started back reading that on Monday, at least on audio. I'm not really listening to the audio. It's just a refresher course because I've listened to it before, but it's very exciting. So back to you, Mr. Bede. Looking forward to the training today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I know one of the conversations we had, it was about you and disciplining your disappointments and really putting yourself in a position to sit back and evaluate why certain results are coming, and the external impact as well as and the internal impact. And most people would have been like, what, it's everybody else's fault. You know what I'm saying? We're not doing this, we're not closing enough for that. And instead you took a different approach. And I appreciate the approach that you took, because that approach that you took, it lets me know that you are looking for an actual answer and a way to be a solution, and to try to figure it out, as opposed to posting blame. And when you do it that way, um, you make it more about you than you do the other individuals. And so when you make it more about you than you do the other individuals involved, then you become the answer. You become the solution for everybody else. You become the key individual. You become the leader, right? And you become the person that people now start to focus on uh, when it comes to being a leader in that category. So, you know, again, it's real easy for anybody to complain. It's real easy for anybody, to have a negative perspective. But what's not so easy for most people to do is, pick up the gauntlet and run with it. Take the responsibility. Say, you know what, I own it. Even though it may not be my fault, I can make sure that it's better for everybody else and learn a new way, so everybody else can benefit. Right. And so, and like I said, good job on the enrollments as well. And looking forward to getting Craig on today's call if he can make it. So I don't know if he can make it or not, but at 12 o'clock, your 1 o'clock your time with
1 o'clock.
yeah, 1 o'clock your time with Mr. Navarro. I think that's going to be real big for him. And you know what, Philip, what's say it, Thomas?
Said, okay, I got you.
Okay, good deal. And so I see Philip's hand. Philip, real quick, I'll let you go real quick here, and then we'll stop at Philip, and then I introduce our speaker.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Mr. Dean, for allowing me to share. Yeah, I won't make it long, but yeah, I had a good week this week and had several networking events, and it's just a matter of just being consistent and continuing to plug into the system. And as Angel Trent always says, go out and network and getting out of my comfort zone. And I pretty much had several networking events this week, and Tony Chitty invited me to a thing that called Alignable. I never heard of that before. So I accepted his invitation. I was like, well, hey, we collaborate on here as well together. So what happened is once I got in, I learned how it was. I pretty much built network there, created my profile, and I posted water. And I gave an explanation of each one. I posted solar. I posted home security, and I posted Zeta yesterday. No, I think it was Thursday. So once I posted that, before that, Tracy, she's one of the coordinators for Jacksonville, Florida. She sent me an email saying, we're going to present you a new member. We're going to present you to 6,000 businesses. So make sure to update your profile, make it look good. And you start coming to the actual physical events. So that kind of excited me. I was like, never had this happen before. So just a matter of plugging you in, and excited. I joined some Web3 and Zeta groups, and I got this out of one of the networking events. One of these guys had a lead generation. We already got Drip CRM, which is good, and I utilize that all the time. But this lead generation, I kind of played around with it. I'm doing like a 12-day trial, and what happened is it actually does the work for me. It saves me time, so it looks for leads that I already got, and the groups that I join. This AI system sends messages to them that I created and saying, "Hey, this is Web3 coming out. This is the new product," and it does it on my behalf. It's going to scrape the leads for me, like warm leads that could be, and that's going to be a game changer. So I'm willing and ready to do what I need to do. So I'm just excited. I'm ready to make this thing happen internationally and local.
There you go. Well, you got the international market wide open, like I said, with France and and especially with the fiance and where she's from. Um, this is gonna be big, man. I'm telling you, internationally, Web3, telecom, AI. Um, People are going to be marveling at the numbers that we do as a company, and what's going to be even more important and impactful is that they'll see people who've never made $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $5,000 a month in network marketing, making 50 grand a month, 100 grand a month, $250,000 a month, and I'm gonna just tell you, you'll be right there at the forefront of it, bro, just based on how you're moving. And so keep us updated with the results and how everything is working, and hopefully hear some good stuff from you next Saturday. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Appreciate you. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So what we're gonna do now is I got a really good friend of mine on the line, and when I say guy's got a beautiful heart, y'all think I have a great heart, beautiful heart. The only thing's more beautiful than his heart is his hair. You know? Hey, no, hey, we that's our running joke. Hey, he has I was gonna say you can It's like Jimmy Johnson, the old Dallas Cowboy football coach, never had a hair out of place. Well, I'm telling you, but dude is professional. When I say he's on point, he's on purpose, and his personality type is different than mine. But he puts me in a position where when I need questions answered, I either go to him or I listen to him. The way he breaks things down is so technical and on point and on purpose, and he does it with such energy and enthusiasm that he infects people. Like a lot of you guys who bought on about your boxes on the other night. The information was great, but that energy that he brought to the line had a lot to do with that. Okay. And so what I want to do is I want to bring my friend Fabian to the line and see if we can get a little bit of Q&A and get some things going on because we want to get in front of this Zeta craze because it's about to be a Zeta craze. So what's up, my friend? Good morning.
Mr. Bean, good morning. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear. Man, it's good to have you
Awesome.
on board. And I know we was talking about this, just a couple of weeks ago, and partnering up and tag teaming and making some things happen. And after the other night, I was like, man, we got to do this now. We got to get out here in front because if I don't, you're gonna be too busy to help me out. So let's get it. So, hey, if you can tell a little bit about your background, let everybody know who you are.
I love it, man. Well, first off, thank you, Mr. Bean, for all those kind words. I appreciate you having me on with your team, with your group. It's definitely an honor to be here. Before I jump into my background, I just want to tell you, Mr. Bean, something from, I want to just speak from the heart. I manifested many years ago being able to work with people like yourself in this industry, man. I remember when I first joined this industry, and I'd go to some of the events, and I'd be all the way in the back, or all the way in the nosebleeds, questioning if I could do something like this. And I would see people like yourself on stage, and I just remember thinking, like, wow, I just hope that one day I can shake somebody's hand like that, or I can, they can know my name, or I could train with them. And look, man, here we are. So it's an honor to be here with you, man, and I appreciate it. So, and I have mad respect for you, and yeah, thank you for the kind words. So let me jump into my background just a little bit. Um, I always find it hard to talk about our background and stuff, but I'll keep it real simple. So for everybody on the group, my background is mostly in sales. I've been in different industries, but more specifically to direct sales and network marketing. I got in maybe over 15 years ago. I was in two companies in my whole career. I was in two companies. In our first company, we did very well. It was my first experience. It did wonders for the rest of my life and the rest of my career just because of the personal development and the people that I got around. More than anything, it was the people that I was able to rub elbows with and learn from that I say has been the key piece that I've taken from this industry. In that company, we put in about maybe 2,500 people, built a large team, not because of me, but because I was able to get around people smarter than me that were willing to work with me, and we were able to create a team. Then we went over to a second company that I was very excited about, and we put in about 60,000 people there, built a large group, and it was exciting. And then most recently, I had an insurance agency for about 11 years. And I recently decided to get out of the insurance industry just because there was other things that I wanted to do. right? I feel like there was bigger and better out there, but all of those things have given me pieces that have, made me who I am today and landed me here. So all that stuff, all that boring stuff is just to say that I know a few things that I can apply to what we're doing here, and I'd love to just share my thoughts and maybe drop some small bits of pieces of advice maybe you guys can take on your journey, and the way it's worked for me, maybe it can work for you. So
Man, that's good stuff. And trust me, it's not boring. Actually, it's definitely needed because people need to see that a lot of people who are successful, they're successful because they have a foundation, right? And it goes back to being in those nosebleed seats, and like that you were talking about. I was in those same seats, and I remember, one of the speakers, who eventually became my mentor, and I watched him on the stage, and I'm watching him, he was speaking, and I'm like, I was sitting next to my wife, and it was a 2 day event, and he had this big diamond ring on. It had his Rolex watch on, and had diamonds all around it. And
like the ones you have right there.
yeah. It's called manifestation. Manifestation. So, so my wife, I was sitting there. I mean, after like almost like probably like 3/4 of the day went by. My wife was like, So tell me what you got out the event. I said, I gotta get a ring and I gotta get a watch like that. So that's all you got. I said, that's all I can remember because every time his hand moved and he was moving, my head and my eyes followed his hand. I said, yeah, I gotta have that. And so that I'm just telling you, being in those cheap seats, man, and just being on this stage, like I said, being in cahoots with people like that, being able to rub elbows and get that information, access to golden nuggets like that. That was my same goal, my same dream because you get on that stage, you get on into those seats, you get on the other side of those ropes, everything changes. You got access to a whole lot of stuff that would normally not happen for you. Just like I say, having the founder and CEO of Zeta come to my living room on Wednesday, what I'm saying? If I don't fight to get to the front seats, if I don't fight to get on the stage, that's not happening, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I
So
agree.
that's good stuff. Now, you know, this and that just that transparency. Like I said, you've been in build, and build has a lot of things to offer. But when it comes to your journey and where you're at right now, let everybody know where you were and what triggers you and why you're excited right now about the company.
I appreciate that, Mr. Bean. Yeah, let me jump in and talk a little bit about that. I think that's important. So
Mhm.
so again, most recently I had an insurance agency, right, for about 11 years. It was a great opportunity, but I can honestly say that I was more excited about the opportunity of what it could do for me business wise and financial, right? But I wasn't passionate necessarily about insurance.
Mm.
And throughout those years, I always had a relationship with Mr. JC Rangel, one of
Mm.
the founders and the president of our company.
Mm.
And we were always good friends, and we had a lot of things in common. And one common thing that we had is we're both big fans of mixed martial arts, the UFC. We love it. So we'd be talking about it, during the week, on the
Mhm.
weekends, talking about the fights. But we always kept that relationship. And what was unique about our relationship is myself being a recruiter in other companies and JC being a recruiter in other companies. For some reason, I don't know if it was just the level of respect or we didn't really want to interrupt what the other person was doing on their journey, but we kept each other updated on what we were doing, but we never really tried to like recruit ourselves. We never did that for some reason. It's weird. It's probably the only person that I had a relationship with like that. So I saw what he was doing. He saw what I was doing. We would bounce ideas off of each other. I got to go out to California, hang out with him, be at his home with his beautiful family. And we, go to the gym. We went to the UFC gym, did a lot of fun things. We talk about business, but never necessarily, we just give
Mhm.
each other information. Well, fast forward to, keep it somewhat short. Um, he left a company where he was killing it, where he was the number one recruiter, number one income earner in a company that was mainly in the solar industry. It was a solar company. He decided he could do it better, and partnered up with Mr. Wences Navarro, who's also one of the founders and the CEO of our company, and they decided to put this concept of build together right in the early stages. And when I heard about it, I remember just thinking, man, if there's anybody that can pull this off, it's JC. It's JC Rangel.
Mm.
So I didn't really understand the solar industry too much, right? What I did understand was who he was. Then he introduced me to Wences, And when I met Mr. Navarro and I got a chance to speak to him and really see what he was all about, I was just sold not on the idea of the business, I was sold on him as a person.
There you
So
go.
I bought into them and their vision. And I knew JC's work ethic. It's tough to keep up with JC's work ethic, man. I'm telling you, it is. So all I remember was having a conversation with him, and I was like, "Hey, you guys are putting all this together. Are you guys taking any investors on? Because I'd love to get a piece of this. I'd love to support you guys." JC said, "We haven't gotten that far. We haven't talked about the numbers. We'll get back to you." And he did. He reached out to me and said, "Hey, were you serious about being an investor in the company?" I said I was. We worked something out. I invested in Build. But here's the funny thing, because I didn't really understand everything, I didn't really get involved with Build at the level I'm involved now. So about 6 months went by, and then JC, I was transitioning out of the insurance industry, and JC was like, "Look, man, we appreciate you supporting us, investing in the company, but what do you think about maybe coming on board and helping us build?" So I wasn't sure if I really wanted to do that again, but I just knew that I wanted to find my footing again after being, leaving insurance. And I kind of knew what I loved, right? And here's the crazy thing: the feelings that were going inside of me was that a lot of times early on in my career, when I was building this type of business, I was building solely off of the financial aspect of it, right? Because I needed to make money, right? So a lot of times I'd be building out of desperation. And I remember when I first saw an opportunity to get involved with this industry, I liked what I saw, but I'll tell you the real reason I got involved. Because I realized that you could just make some extra money on the side, right? Now, extra is the key word, right? So I was doing the math and I realized I could make an extra $441.32 with a side business. And the reason I remember that $441.32 like it was yesterday is because that was my car payment at the time. It was a Honda Accord that I had, a coupe. I love that car. But that was my payment. And every time I would get my checks coming in from my job, it hurt to have to let go of that $441.32. So back then, I was like, "Hey, you're telling me I could just dedicate a few hours a week and make an extra $441.32 for the month?" I was like, "All right, so I don't have to touch my checks from work. I can just make my car payment. I'm going to be set for life. I'm going to be rich if I could just do that." That was my thinking. So I jumped into the industry, right? But
Right.
but that's why I got involved, because here's the thing, and I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place. Just to give you guys a disclaimer, I rarely stay on topic, and I never let the topic get in the way of what I really want to say. All right, just so you guys know. So I'm going to jump all over the place here. Okay. So with that said, when I got involved, I realized that extra is the key word in this industry, right? I realized that quickly, and I heard it from one of my mentors from afar, Jim Rohn. See, here's the thing: in this industry, people see people making a lot of money. They see sometimes, the nice things like the nice diamond rings, the nice watches. What they fail to realize is these nice things, or these great speakers on stage, or these big teams that get built, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes years and years to be able to get to that point, right? So what I encourage people is look at this, right? Look at this whole opportunity. The way I looked at it is you get involved to make an extra. Because I'll tell you one thing, the story of why you get involved with a company is very powerful, right? We know that facts sell, but stories tell, right? It's like you look at a lot of these brands out there nowadays. These brands that have backstories, people buy into the backstories. So one thing that I learned and I realized is that when I go to people to share my opportunity, it's a lot more impressive for me to say, "Look, I made an extra $441.32 apart from my job," right? That's interesting. It's like, okay, so you have your job, you have your regular money, but you made an extra $441, right? But if I would have left my job and just said, "Hey, I'm going to jump in," and I tell somebody, "Hey, I made $441.32, that's not impressive anymore. You're telling me you made 441? No. But that key word, I made that extra $441, right? So that's what's so powerful about this industry and why I'm so in love with the industry, right? And the fact that you could take a person who might think of themselves as average and turn them into a savage, right?
Mhm.
This is one of those few industries where you could take the average and go to savage, right? By just following systems that are already in place, blueprints that are already in place. Mr. Bean's on here showing all of us what he's done and how he did it. And all he's saying is just follow me, right? You could take the path of most resistance or the path of least resistance. Now, I respect the people that take the path of most resistance, right? That they have to create the path themselves, the trail. I respect it. But if I see a path that's already cut out for me and I'm trying and it's taking me to the destination where I want to get, I think I'm going to take the one that's already cut out because it might be faster, it might be a little easier and simpler, right? Mr. Bean's already made all of the mistakes. We don't have the time to go and commit the same mistakes. So he can make it a little faster. We can get there a little faster with his leadership, right? Now, let me just bring all that back and tie it in on why I'm here and Build. So when JC said, hey, you're on the investor side, I know you believe in what we're doing. Why don't you come and take a real look at what we're doing and get involved? But I knew that something like this takes a lot of dedication. So I wanted to make sure that I was in the right mindset to give it everything I had. So I spoke to my wife and we made the decision, hey, let me take a position in the field. Let me add some value. Let me go along for this ride. But more than anything, I just saw where the vision of the company was going. So I remember having a conversation with Mr. Rangel and with Mr. Navarro, and I was telling them, look, not only am I buying into you guys, and even though what you guys are doing with Build early on makes sense, the solar, the water, and all these things, I'm not buying into what Build is today. I'm buying into what Build's going to be 5 years from now, 7 years from now. You got to have a little bit of vision, right? Right. It's like I might mess up the quote, but one of my favorite quotes is I believe the quote from Helen Keller, right? She says, I'm probably gonna mess it up, but I think she said I'd rather have no eyesight than have sight and no vision, right? I'd rather be blind than to have sight and no vision. So I was buying into the vision of what they were laying out, what they want Build to be. And one of the things that blows me away is that I know it's easy to say it, right? It's easy to talk the talk and it gets more difficult to walk the walk. But every time, and I know Mr. Bean can attest to this, that you talk to these gentlemen, they're always thinking of the field first. They're thinking of the reps in our company. They're not thinking about how much money they're making, because I can guarantee you right now, I don't want to get into their personal things, but everything's invested into the company, right? They are more concerned about what they're going to pay out to the field and making sure that their reps are in a good position and that their reps are getting, or their partners, right, are getting the most value out of this company. That's their number one priority. And that's what sells me every day, right? When it gets a little difficult, when it gets tough, when the company's still trying to find its identity, what are we going to promote the most? Those are the ups and downs, but I understand the vision of where they're going. So that's what kind of brings me all around here to Build.
Yeah. And so now when you look at, and going back, like I said, now JC does work harder because his work ethic is tremendous. And for me, Winston's was my X factor as well. Like I said, so when it came down to it, and I probably spent more time in the beginning, I spent more time with JC, and now over the past 7-8 months has been with Winston's. We have more of a direct conversation and relationship. And when I look at how everything is being built out, and I look at the conversation that we get to have, in the interim, and we get a chance to see, how this thing is shaping up, but our input that we get a chance to put in this thing and to see how they receive it and how they evolve around it or how they adapt it to the information that we give them back. It shows, like you said, it validates what you just said, that they want the best, for the field. Because, I was just talking, about the compensation plan. I listened to one and I said, hey, hold on, we might need to change that because, and then all of a sudden we had an emergency call and then boom, they changed it. And so it's about getting it right, not being right now. And so, and that's things like everybody's growing in their process, everybody's maturing in their process, and everybody's getting better. And we're all here to hold each other accountable. Just like, I'm here, to make sure that everybody in the leadership team is accountable. They're there to make sure I'm accountable. Well, you guys are here to make sure each of you are accountable as well, because you're all growing, up in a system together. You're all becoming 7-figure earners together, and that's important. And so the environment is very, very important. The culture is very, very important. Now, this project, this thing called Zeta, this 4-letter word. It's got a lot of things going on. Got a lot of moving parts around it. Now, before we talk about Zeta, you know, are you familiar with like maybe the one or two companies that came out before Zeta that had the same type of the what they had the Zeta impact that we're expecting, and so we can kind of set the table for what we can expect over on this side. Are you familiar with any of those other companies?
So I am a little bit, but
Okay.
I have a different perspective on it. But go ahead,
Okay.
Mr. B. Tell me
No,
what
no,
you.
go ahead. Well, give me your perspective because I definitely because I really because when you're my background obviously military, then coffee,
Yeah.
and some investing, but so everything for me is new territory.
Yeah.
Web3, new territory. Blockchain, new territory.
Yeah.
Zeta, Omni, all this stuff is going to be new territory for me as
Yep.
well. So this is going to be a learning experience for us all. So give me your perspective on what you see in this industry. When it comes to what Zeta's about to introduce.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd love to. So what's so impressive about Zeta is this. I want you guys. So I might lay it on you just a little bit different, right? I'm
Mm,
not necessarily a tech guy. I'm not
mm,
techie, but
mm,
what I am good at is analyzing information, learning quickly, gathering the right information, and piecing it all together. That I do consider that I'm good at that, right?
mhm.
And I do understand the technology behind it. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I understand at a technologist level, right? But here's what I see with Zeta. More importantly than anything, Zeta is a disruptor. Okay, it's here to disrupt a market, and all we have to do is have our eyes open and understand the things that have disrupted the market and what it's accomplished, and more than anything, what has it done for the people who have been the early adopters and have gotten in early. That's really what you have to wrap your head around and really think about that for a second, right? The other projects that you're talking about, Mr. Bean, I get it. Like for example, Helium. I don't know if that's the ones you were referring
That's
to.
one of one. That's one of one.
Yeah. So they're similar in the sense, and this is why my perspective is different.
Mhm.
Because I've noticed that I know Mr. Navarro uses that as an example, and I think he
Mhm.
tries to use it as an example to kind of give people an idea.
Mhm.
Oh, and by the way, guys, I talk a lot with my hands. I'm Latino.
Mhm.
Latinos talk a lot with their hands, right? So I talk. It feels like I'm practicing martial art. I talk a lot. I talk with my hands, right?
It's all
So
good. I do the same thing. Go ahead.
anyway, so I know that they try to use those companies to kind of give people a perspective of how it can be similar, right?
Mhm.
The reason I don't like really doing that is because they're not the same. So
Mhm.
it's like me telling you, trying to explain cell phones when they first came out, and then trying to use how well the phone hanging in your kitchen on the wall was doing.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, it's a good point. It's somewhat relevant, but it's really not because it's
Mhm.
totally different, right?
Mhm.
So even the closest company like Helium that did something similar
Mhm.
still does not, it's a different niche and it
Mhm.
doesn't have what we have.
Mhm.
So I don't really like to compare the two. Zeta is in a category of its own.
Mhm.
Okay. There's nothing out there that what Zeta is doing. So let me come back.
Mhm.
Meta is here to disrupt a market, right? Not necessarily to eliminate a market. I've been having conversations. I think I almost lost my voice yesterday because I was talking. I must have had, I don't know, I don't want to exaggerate, but maybe between 30 and 40 phone calls yesterday,
Mhm.
about 4 Zooms. I mean, I was just
Mhm.
going and going and going yesterday.
Mhm.
And what that did for me is that I was
All
able,
Zeta. All Zeta.
all Zeta,
Okay.
all Zeta. Yeah.
I just wanted to get at that moment. That's a conscious interrupt for those who missed it. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
went over their head. So
Yeah.
just
It
you know
was
what I'm saying. Go ahead.
actually, I lied. One of them was about ADT security. One of them was about security, but everything else was
That's
about
not all
Zeta.
good.
Okay, so but the beautiful thing about having all those phone calls yesterday was that I was able to talk to people that were all over the spectrum, right?
Mhm.
I talked to people that were on this end where they really don't understand technology.
Mhm.
They don't even know how to connect a router, right?
Mhm.
Then I talked to people way smarter than me that were teaching me about tokenomics and
Mhm.
asking me questions about vested schedules for the crypto coin. I mean, right?
Mhm.
So I was able to talk to people all over.
Right.
But here's what I took away from all of that. success loves speed, right?
Mhm.
It loves speed, right? And another thing is scared money doesn't make money, right? The biggest risk is taking no risk at
At
all,
all.
right? Okay. So with that being said, I realize that I'm running into people that are like asking me, okay, what are the numbers to the patents that you have on this project, and get me the vested schedule, and it's like, okay, great.
Right.
Nothing against those people, right?
Mhm.
But I'm going to tell you right now, don't spend a lot of time on those people.
Mhm.
Show them the respect. There's nothing wrong with asking those questions. I get it. I get it.
Mhm.
But just let them know that when you have the info, you'll send it to them. But
Mhm.
don't spend too much time on them trying to talk them into it, right? Just, I wanted to let you know, keep moving forward. And you want to just share with people your excitement and why you believe in it, right? Whether you're a technology person or not, people can smell uh, um, um, genuine. People can, you being genuine, people can smell that. People can see if you're being real. So it doesn't matter why you're excited about Zeta. You might be excited about Zeta because of something different than I'm excited for Zeta, right? But as long as you share your genuine excitement with people, people are going to perceive that from you, and they'll tend to buy into it because most likely you're contacting people that you have a relationship with. And remember, people do business with people that they trust, they like, right? And they have some type of relationship with.
Mhm.
So they're already giving you the time to speak to them about it. Just be genuine and just share what you feel about it, and people will buy into it, right? But this is what I see about Zeta. Zeta's here to disrupt a market, right? Not necessarily eliminate a market, right? When you start telling people, I understand we are attempting and we will decentralize the internet, right? But sometimes that sounds a little grandiose. It sounds a little big, and people are afraid of big and lofty goals, right? The masses are, right?
Mhm.
So you guys are approaching people with the mindset that you're building here at Build. Those people do not have usually the
Right.
same mindset. So
Right.
we're talking about, hey, we have a project, we're going to decentralize the internet. People are like, okay, yeah, all right. They might not believe it, right?
Right.
So here's the thing that you have to realize, and even for you that might be on the call, and I have to remind myself as well,
Mhm.
Zeta's not here to eliminate the big companies. It's not here to eliminate the way the internet works. It's just here to disrupt it, right?
Mhm.
I'm going to give you an example. Airbnb.
Mhm.
Airbnb did not do away with hotels, right?
Right.
Hotels are still here. You can still book a 5-star, 4-star, 3-star hotel
Mhm.
anytime you want. So it
Mhm.
didn't eliminate a market, but it did disrupt it.
Right.
Right? Do you agree with me?
Yep.
It disrupted it a little bit. And that little bit made a lot of people a lot of money, right?
Mhm.
Early adopters. So Airbnb just disrupted the market, didn't eliminate it, right? Remember when Netflix used to be DVDs, right?
Mhm.
And then they started talking about, hey, we're going to go to streaming services. Guess what? I still have cable in my house. I still pay for regular cable because there's some channels that my children like. So I still have cable. Some people cut the cable and just stream. But
Right.
what I'm trying to say is it didn't eliminate cable. It just disrupted a market. Again,
Mhm.
keyword disrupted. And when you disrupt something in a market, a lot of people can make a lot of money if they're early adopters, right? Now you look at Uber. Can we still call a cab? Can we still call a taxi?
Of
Yeah,
course.
we still
Mhm.
can. It didn't get rid of cabs or taxis. It just disrupted the
Disrupted.
market a little bit, right? So you
Mhm.
have to think of Zeta as just a disruptor, right?
Mhm.
Just like medicine is changing every day and making advances, technology is also changing and making advances every day, but it moves fast. And you have to either catch the vision and move just as fast, or you're going to get left behind, right? Here's why it's disrupting a market. Zeta is a router. Everybody on this call has a router at home or a router in their place of business. Everybody does, right? Anybody who has internet has a router. But the router that you have right now is meant for you to be a consumer, right? There's capitalists and then there's consumers, right? The majority of the masses, they just consume, 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 consume. The capitalists are selling to them. They make money. And then the other people are just consuming, consuming, consuming. The router is just meant for us to consume, right? There's two things that we're consuming. We're paying our internet bill every month, because that modem or that router is bringing in the internet signal. So we're consuming the signal. And then whatever we're downloading, right? Because internet was made more for us to download than upload, right? So we're downloading every picture we're looking at, every YouTube video, every Zoom call, every Netflix show you're watching, your music, Amazon, all that stuff that we're on the computer or on the TV and that we're using, we're consuming, right? We're downloading. So the router, as we know it, that's sitting in your house is not doing anything for you besides providing a service, right? So now Zetta comes along and says, wait, maybe there's a new idea. Maybe we have a way to disrupt this. Let's just add the same router, but it's just 25 times better and does a lot of things differently. Oh, and it also has the potential to maybe make you some profits or earn you some rewards. It's really that simple. We can sit here and talk about the CPU, the GPU, the AI compute chip, the 70 teraops, the terabytes of memory. We can talk about that. That's all just the technical stuff. I mean, let's be real. The TVs that we have hanging on our wall right now at home, you guys use them every day. Do you really know exactly what's inside that TV or what's built inside that TV? I don't. I know the basic stuff, the refresh rate, the size of my TV. I know that. But don't ask me what the motherboard or the chips has in it. I don't get too hung up on that, right? So we can sit here and talk about the technical aspect of Zetta, but that's not what's going to make you money. Right. That's not what's going to earn you rewards. What's going to earn you rewards is you being able to wrap your head around the vision of what Zetta is trying to accomplish. Zetta is a market disruptor, right? In essence, it's a market disruptor that's being laid out in 3 phases. And I'll try to lay it out as simple as I can. Phase 1 is distribute these boxes to as many people as we can, domestically and internationally, right? That's basically just laying the foundation like you would for a house. I dabble a little bit in real estate. I know Mr. Bean knows a lot about real estate. He's made millions of dollars in real estate. And I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and we were talking about a new construction project. And I was telling them most likely the banks are not going to give you a loan until you've laid the foundation and at least put up the 4 walls. Am I right in that, Mr. Bean? Mm-hmm. A lot of the time they want to see that you have skin in the game, that you've at least laid the foundation, put up 4 walls, and then from there, banks will sit down with you about giving you the rest of the loan for a new construction project. I'm saying that because with Zetta, we have to lay down the foundation first, right? Mm-hmm. What is the foundation? It's the boxes. We just have to distribute as many boxes as we can that add value right away, mind you, add value right away, even at the most basic level. What does this router do right away? As soon as somebody gets it today and plugs into their house, at the most simple level, it does 2 things. It improves their Wi-Fi speed up to 2 gigabytes, right? So they get faster Wi-Fi, and it extends their reach of their Wi-Fi, right? So maybe they weren't getting good signal on the 2nd floor or maybe in their driveway. This will extend up to 5,000 square feet. So that's just at the basic level. Somebody plugs in this router, it's faster than their existing router, and it's got farther reach than their existing router, right? Unless they have a mesh system, but then they usually have like 3 or 4 boxes scattered around their whole house, right? Mm-hmm. But at the most basic level, that's what this router does. That's phase 1. Get as many boxes plugged in as many homes and business places as we can, right? Because then we start getting the bandwidth out there, right? People get the boxes are sharing bandwidth, which is basic internet signal. That's phase 1. Phase 2, once we get a certain amount of number of boxes distributed, then we go into phase 2, which is what they call the nodes, right? Which are going to go up on people's roofs. Now, again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but nodes is basically just an antenna, small antenna that people will be able now to put on their roof. And it's going to be dispersed strategically. And what that does is it fills in the gaps and then brings that bandwidth in the network together to tighten it up. Now we've created a network, right? Once we've laid the foundation, we've shared the bandwidth, then we've added those nodes and created the network. Now we go into phase 3. What is phase 3? Now we can start offering services like AI compute, cloud services. We can even create our own ISP, which stands for Internet Service Provider. So now we could offer Build Internet or Zeta Internet. And then I'll even go one step further. Because of the major compute power that all these boxes have. And then when they come together, right? Like a transformer, right? They come together.
Mhm.
Now they have enough power to even power a VoIP network, right? Which is voice over IP. So now, guess what that is? That's a telecommunications network. So now we can offer Build cell phone service, Zeta cell phone service. Now you start becoming independent networks. So you guys follow me? It's this is the long-term vision. This is the long end. This is the end game, right? Is to get where you disrupt a market. You can offer these independent services, which now translates to being decentralized, right? But while we're talking about all that, there's some money being made along the way, right? So for people who get in early, you're going to be able. Right now, I know they have some kind of a bonus where the first 500 boxes get 50,000 tokens, right? Now, everything I've mentioned to you, I haven't even talked about the tokens.
Right.
So I could just leave the tokens out, and I could have stopped right there, and I think that's enough to get some people excited, right?
Mhm.
Now let's talk about the tokens. They're adding a token angle to this, a crypto angle to this, right? Now let's not kid ourselves. I like to be very, very real. Crypto still has a little bit of a stigma to it, right? Some people still don't trust crypto, and I don't blame them. There's a lot of shady people that have done a lot of bad things with crypto, right? But then again, that's in every market, right? I had an insurance agency. I also know insurance agencies that have committed fraud, right?
Right.
The problem
Right.
is try to zero in and say, oh, crypto. Well, yeah, insurance companies have also committed fraud. The stock market has committed fraud. And so every industry has its good and its bad, right? But in crypto, because it's the newest hot word, people focus every time there's a headline, there was a scam or something happened, people tend to just focus on that. But they seem to forget that Bitcoin just hit like $111,000 in value, I believe yesterday, the day before yesterday. They forget that companies like JP Morgan and Chase and these huge retailers are all adopting crypto. Crypto is not going anywhere. It's the future. The only thing that they're trying to do is just weed it out, add regulation, and trying to make it tight so it can get to a point where now it's regulated and it's a little bit more, it's a little bit easier for the masses who are not that knowledgeable to adopt it and not be scared of it, right? But the most important thing about crypto, whether you know anything about crypto or you don't, and I know there's probably people on this call that know more about crypto than I do, but here's the one thing I understand about crypto. I sit there and I talk to some people and they'll tell me about a coin or a cryptocurrency. And they'll tell me about the value and what they're doing with it. And then after the conversation, I can't find the utility. I can't find the value of what the coin is really useful, right? So it starts to tell me like, okay, this is really just something that's built on speculation. And it's just built on demand, right? If people are buying it, the price goes up. If people are not buying it, the price goes down. What blows me away about Zeta's token is that it's going to be backed by real money. Zeta, the value of Zeta's token is going to be backed by the revenue that the services that we're providing are bringing in. Think about that for a second. So the cloud services that we're going to offer bring in revenue. The AI compute, like a mini data center, when we offer that, that's going to bring in revenue. If we offer ISP services, that's going to bring in revenue. That underlying revenue is what's going to support the Zeta token. So it's real, it's tangible, you can touch it, right? That's what makes the utility so valuable in this token. Now, can I sit here and speculate what it's going to be worth? No, I can't do that because there's so many factors like market fluctuations, how well we do on distributing these boxes. There's so many things that play into it that I can't speculate on price. But I will say this, and I don't know, Mr. Navarro might get mad at me for sharing some of this I'm not supposed to share, but I just want to give you guys, don't quote me, just tell everybody you don't know where you heard it from, all right? So
come on.
Look, so all I know is that I've looked into the people behind Zeta and I've looked into what they're doing. And they hired an outside firm to look at the project and look at the possible value of the token. And I also did some research online. And where the project stands right now, it is completely viable and what's the other word I'm looking for? It's completely viable and justified that the token can launch anywhere from half a cent to 10 cents, leaning more towards being justified at the 10-cent mark. So again, don't quote me on any numbers. I'm just thinking out loud here, right? If somebody gets in now with a box and gets 50,000 tokens and it's valued at 10 cents, let's say it doesn't even grow. Let's say it stays at 10 cents for a couple of years, right? As soon as it hits these platforms, that's about $5,000 that you have there that you can play with, all because you jumped in and got a router early on, right? Even if it never went anywhere from there. If I got a router that gave me better speeds, better Wi-Fi reach, and I just had to make a couple $1,000s when the coin launched, I'd be happy. It's a win-win for me, right? But
Correct.
obviously, this coin is meant to increase in value. The rewards you're going to receive, people who get in early, and when we launch an ISP that's going to be faster and more secure than the internet provider you have now, the people who got in early are going to be able to lock in wholesale prices. So I know right now they got me. I mean, they got me in a chokehold. There's nobody. Look, not to act like I'm so tough. There's never there. I've done a little bit of MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and wrestled. Nobody's ever dominated me 100% and held me in a chokehold. But Comcast has, Xfinity has. They've put me in a chokehold that I can't get out of, right? Because and for me to get the best price, I have to have all their services. So I have their internet, I have their cable, I even have a home phone. Most people don't have home phones. I have a home phone, right? That I really don't even use. It just sits there, but it gives me the best price. I've actually inquired about canceling my cable and my home phone, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we can do that." But now you're gonna have a standalone product with your internet that's gonna be close to like $150, $170 a month just for the internet. The early adopters here, if we create an ISP, maybe we get locked in at $15 a month, $20 a month at a faster and more secure product and service, right? So it's all about getting in early, right? And understanding what we're doing. We have a product on our hands that doesn't exist on the market right now. That in itself is sexy. Being able to talk to somebody and being like, look, you can't walk into a Best Buy and buy what we have. Oh yeah, no, I can get this box over. Yeah, it's not the same. It's not apples to apples, right? That's a router that just distributes your signal. That's it. What I'm giving you is something that might look like the box, but it's not the same, right? So to me, that's just what Zetta means to me. Zetta to me is something that's here to disrupt the market, and we get the honor and the opportunity to be able to go first and bring it to the marketplace first. And this is what excites me the most. I've learned from mentors before two things. In life, you just have to be at the right place and at the right time once. That's it, right? You can fail at business over and over and over 20 times. And maybe none of those 20 times you hit it big, but you get up 21 times. And on that 21st attempt, you hit it. You were right. All you needed was that one time, but you needed to get there through the first 20. So all I'm saying is, look, some people might look at me and be like, man, it's just a box. Why is he so fired up? It's not just the box. It's the opportunity. It's the fact that it can disrupt the market. And I'm here to do it first, right? There's a first mover's advantage. It's early adoption. Just see it first. Wrap your head around it and just get excited, get fired up, right? How can you not be fired up when you're on a call with somebody like Mr. Bean, who's made millions of dollars in different industries? It is so tough to get around people like this, right? And I love that you guys are being led and mentored by Mr. Bean, because he's giving you guys the fire every day. You got to stay close to that fire. No matter how hot you think you are in business or in anything else that you do, if you get away from the fire, you get cold, right? You stay close to the fire. The fire are our mentors, our leaders, these opportunities that they're giving us. Wrap your head around it and get to work. And honestly, that's what I'm doing. And that's what Zetta is to me. I'm fired up about Zetta. I think that we're going to accomplish something big here, something significant. We're going to make an impact. And this is going to be a story to talk about 5 years from now. And along the way, some of us are going to make some money that could possibly be life changing. So that's what I got for you, Mr. B. And I hope that I was able to convey just a little bit about what I think we have here. So
Yeah, no, that was some good stuff there, man. That look, they all clapping right now. They all
I appreciate that.
he ain't going nowhere. He ain't done yet. I'm not done
No.
with it. Just so y'all know, y'all clapping. Don't think he's about that wasn't his exodus. But no, that you again, it's always good, to have a different perspective.
Yeah.
It's always good to be able to see things from another viewpoint, another lens point. And when it comes to Mr. Navarro, he has his viewpoint. That you have your viewpoint, I have my viewpoint, but we all speak to one of four different categories of people, right? And so again, you just spoke the language. I know you just spoke a language that a lot of people can actually communicate with, because you spoke to all four different categories. When the first move is advantage, ultra aggressive, I'm about to capture the market, our reds, and those are our sharks, right? And then you got the people who look, we're about to go out here and help some people, save some money, put some people in a really good place where they can control, these companies that bundle us with all these services and lock us in and supersize, what they're serving, so we can't go anywhere. And so we want to help these people, and those are yellows, right? And so, and then you got the people who are techs. Like I said, the techie part, we have people like Laura Johnson, who's on this call, who's just loving them specs and techs and everything else. They love them numbers, right? Our greens, right? And then you got the blues. Uh, we just like disrupting stuff. It's fun to mess things up for somebody else. Not necessarily destroy something, but to get everybody's attention. We like attention, right? And so when you're disrupting, you got somebody's attention. That's key. You spoke to all four, but when I look back, I know I go way back, to the point where you said just the schedule for that you had yesterday. So your schedule and the things that you did, you had 30 or 40 phone calls in one day, 4 Zooms. Um, one just happened, unfortunately, be about security, but I won't hold that again. But nah, but yeah, but you did the work in one day that some people don't do all month, and they want to be a 7-figure earner, or they would like to be a 7-figure earner, would love to be a 7-figure earner, but they don't have a 7-figure earner work ethic. And so this is what I'm just guys just know this is what a 7-figure earner looks like in a company before they become a 7-figure earner in a company, right? That's the type of activity, right? He's because some of y'all are gonna call him somebody in this company gonna wake up and call him special. Somebody's gonna wake up in the company and say, he's an investor in the company, he's supposed to make money. Or somebody's gonna wake up in the company and say, you know what, he's got all this experience, he's supposed to make 7, 8 figures in a situation, and they're gonna make every excuse for him to win and for them to lose. And if you didn't hear anything else, I wanted to make sure you go back, because some of y'all are still Zeta in that trance right now, that I don't want you to miss the stuff that you really are supposed to get, because it don't matter what Zeta does, for the company, if you don't have a work ethic, if you're not committed, and they can't just smell the genuineness on you, and they can smell the hunt on you. Right. That's one thing he's always taught. My mentor always taught me, if you're not hunting, people can smell it. If you smell like soap from a fresh bath, and you took a bath 9 hours ago, you ain't did nothing all day. Right. You can smell somebody who's out in the hunt, running, tripping, falling, and yeah, right, James. You can tell that, right? And so you hear his voice. The man made a ton of phone calls, right? Same thing about Dale. Dale was on the phone, and Dale's got some ideas and stuff that I'm excited to talk to. I'm excited for him to talk to Mr. Ross when he comes to Houston, and he's in my living room. Earl, he'll be there. Dale will be there with his questions, because Dale's got his box, right? And so, but Dale's been making phone calls. That's why Dale's voice is like that today. But that I wanted to start there, and then going back to your explanation of what disruption is, and that's the first time a lot of people have heard it that way, right? And it probably gave them a whole new appreciation for that word disruptor, because most people do think that disrupting means the termination of, you know what I mean, and the end of, right? And it's this cataclysmic event, and it's not, because you know, when you were going through, it's crazy. I was typing down, you know, I'm like, I was going to Uber and I was typing some other stuff. Then you hit Uber, and I was going to Blockbuster. Then you hit Netflix, and I'm like, I'm over here typing. I'm like, because in my mind, you know how my mind works. It's
Yep.
like, boom, I catch it now. I'm about to build on top of it. But it's like, even when we were doing coffee, when we launched Organo, right? We disrupted the network marketing industry, didn't shut it down. We disrupted the healthy coffee industry, right? We didn't shut it down, but a ton of people made millions of dollars. And a matter of fact, a lot of the people who are in that company, you'll see at the heads of a lot of companies in the in this industry today. So they became pillars of a lot of companies and owners of a lot of companies that people are bouncing around to from day to day, right? And so that's important. Just knowing that you're in the right place at the right time. You're in a seven-figure situation, and some of you guys are in an eight-figure situation. And it's how you behave, you know, in these moments. Like it's everything he said. You know, being intentional about his work ethic, being excited about his work ethic, talking to people from, you know, one scan over one place over here who doesn't know anything about anything, and somebody who thinks they know everything about everything, but he's having conversations, but he's also putting everybody on notice. It doesn't matter. Like you say, hey, all right, great. I get you everything you got. Well, as soon as we get it, I'll be right back at you. Hold your horses. Over here, you know, we got trainings and stuff like that that'll bring you along. Don't worry about that. I'll send some videos. They create videos, but he's putting everybody on notice. See that when you look at the 6 degrees of separation, everybody that's in your cell phone is in somebody else's cell phone, right? My wife and I, we were looking in the Omni group, you know, the trading group and the beta group, and somebody I just talked to, you know, in March, they just joined another network marketing company. So I'm just like Fabian. I didn't talk to her about the company based on respect and how we felt, but she had just joined the company. So I didn't want to attack the new company. She's 3 months in. I didn't want to say, hey man, you know, poo poo on your dreams. You know, you should be here with me, you know,
Yep.
type of thing. But I turned around and saw her in the beta group. Right. And I'm like, son of a biscuit. No, I was like, and then so now I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm literally this is real fresh. I'm literally talking to everybody. Period. I'm just like I said, everybody's getting the conversation. Period. And I don't even know what kind of conversation it's gonna be, but I know you're gonna get one. And so you can't say you didn't have one. And so when everything that I talk to you about pops up, you know who to come back to. All right. And so I hate learning lessons like that. I like teaching them that way, but not learning them that way. But these, like, you had a lot of really good nuggets. The one that everybody should really pay attention to. Not necessarily all of them are great, from average to savage. I love it all, but that first movers advantage, early adopters, guys. We look at Simon Sinek and go back. You talk about, you know, Simon Sinek in his talk on early adopters and how the percentage is very, very small because most people don't have vision. Right? Most people are waiting for somebody else to go out there and win or fail with it. They're not risk takers. They're not sacrifices. And the people who are, you know, like Ken Francis, who said, you know what, I bought the box of $1,400 because I knew they only had 500. That was going to give me 50,000. He bought it full price. He had some people who wouldn't buy anything, and I get it. Don't buy it because he told you about the coupon code. He said, forget that. You know what I'm saying? I'm buying it today to secure my 50,000 coins. You know, because like you said, if it starts off at 10 cent, that's 5 grand. What happens if it goes to $1? That's 50 grand at some point. 10,000, it goes to $10. Guys, that's over 500,000. That's 500,000. And remember, that's additional coins. We ain't even talked about the coins that you get, you know, that you get for using the box, right? Over time. And all other boxes, all the coins you get for recruiting people that sell boxes, that buy boxes. And we not, this is how you see people blow up, make millions of dollars, and they're 18 years old and 17 years old. And you with your 45-year-old self, 55-year-old self, 65-year-old self, you're doubting everything that comes out. They're not. They're looking at you saying, if I doubt this, I live like them. They're literally, they're saying, I'm about to take the risk. My mom ain't about to take. I'm about to take the risk. My dad ain't about to take. My uncle ain't about to take, because that's what got them where they're at right now on a 9 to 5 at 55, 65 years old. You gonna get to complain, right? If you don't make the sacrifices, if you don't take the risk, if you don't go out there and put yourself in a position where you don't get to complain, right? Forget the presidency that happens every 4 years. You vote for yourself when moments like this happen, right? So this is when you put your ballot in, right? When I was at my brokest financially, I was at my strongest, and we beat foreclosure, repossession, bankruptcy, 6 month pregnant wife, all of that in less than 45 days. And it took us over 6 months of, to get there, in the situations that we were in. But that's when I voted for myself. Just like, Fabian is actually voted for him. So everybody's going to be able to participate, but this opportunity is not for everybody, right? Everybody can participate, but it's not for this opportunity. I'm just telling you, you talking about the people who want to do something really, really big, and they see how big this thing is. This opportunity is going to be that one key opportunity for many that'll make millions of dollars, because they're going to show everybody how to get that extra, that extra speed on this on the Wi-Fi, or the extra space, the coverage area, or just whatever it is extra for them, and that extra $441, and what that represented for them. The people who master having a lot of conversations and showing people, what extra can do for them, those are the ones going to go out here and make it happen. So, I mean, at that part, again, there's a lot of good stuff, man, that you let us in on. Now, international expansion. Talk a little bit about that. So I know you're from Colombia, right? Que ciudad?
So my family's mainly in Bogota, which is
Okay.
the capital of Colombia. I have
Okay.
some family in Cali, right,
Mm-hmm.
Colombia,
Uh-huh.
and my wife and her family are from Medellin, Colombia.
I took my brother to Medellin for his birthday in December. Okay.
Beautiful city,
Oh
beautiful
yeah,
city.
yeah. Love it. Had a great time. So that's not the only place you're expanding to. Obviously, it's not the only place that people at outside the country that you're going to be introducing this opportunity to. Talk about how big this could be, and why building outside the U.S. Is a little bit different and more impactful than building inside the U.S. when it comes to something like this.
Yeah, so that's a great question. As I want to make two side notes really quick before I get
Mhm.
into that.
Mhm.
The first one is listening to Mr. Bean talk. This is what I love about, like, it's such an honor for me to be able to even be on a call with everybody here just to share my thoughts and my ideas, right?
Mhm.
And to share what I've been through. Because of the fact that I still look in the mirror, and I'm still a student every day. I'm still trying to learn. I get up every day and realize I don't know what I'm doing. Right? Like, I still need to know more. I need to look to others, and just listening to Mr. Bean talk, it's really hitting me. So I need to make a side note really quick. I always told myself that if I was ever in a position to be able to speak to others about business or the things that I've done, I'd always try to reach um, those. I want to reach everybody, but I really want to reach those that might be doubting themselves. Even though we all doubt ourselves at some level, right? But
Mhm.
your journey makes you stronger. It makes you more confident. To a lot of you, Mr. Bean and myself might seem confident on this call, but there's only two reasons why we might seem that way, because I'm sure there's times that Mr. Bean and myself doubt our confidence as well. It happens more than you think. The only reason we seem confident on a call like this is because of what we've done. We've put in the hours. We've put in the hours. So because we've done it, we can speak about it. You can't fake that. So you have to put in those hours. So if you're doubting yourself, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just not enough hours have been put in. It's all it is, right? And the other reason we might seem confident is because we've seen a little success. I'm sorry, Mr. B, my computer's going crazy here. Can you still see and hear me?
Yes, all that real good. We can
Okay,
see you
good.
and hear you clearly.
Great. Thank you. So with that being said, we've also had a little success, meaning that we proved the concept, right? Mr. Bean and I learned something, we did it, and then we had some kind of financial reward for it. So when you put in the hours and you have a little bit of financial reward for it, that builds your confidence, right? So I'm saying that to say this: if there's anybody on this call who's doubting themselves, if there's anybody on this call that says, well, 30 to 40 phone calls sounds like a lot, I don't even have 30 to 40 people to call. For those of you that just seems like, look, chasing millions of dollars just seems so far-fetched. And I get it, because if you're sitting there, you've never made more than 100,000 a year, your brain cannot fathom $1 million a year. Our brains are wired to protect us, to keep us comfortable, to make us feel safe. If you have not made 6 figures in your life and you're thinking about making $1 million, that's stretching your brain. Your brain does not feel safe. It does not feel comfortable. So it tells you, whoa, 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 that's too big of a number. We're getting dizzy now. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Let's get into this small comfort level where we feel safe, right? So what I'm trying to say with that is, treat this opportunity in the big picture with Build, not just Zetta. Zetta is just one part of what we're doing at Build. We have Zetta, we have the water, we have the solar panels, we have the security, we have coming soon the trading platform, we have our vacations that we're going to be able to take. There's so many aspects to Build. That's the big picture, right? Just, it's okay to slow down and minimize it a little bit. Treat it like an elevator. I love this example that I learned from a mentor of mine. Get off on the floor that is good for you, right? When you go to a building that has an elevator, you get on the elevator with other people. Not everybody's going to the same floor, right? Maybe that day you're meant to go to the 3rd floor. Maybe you're going to the 1st floor. Somebody might be going to the 27th floor. That's okay. That's their journey. That they're going there for their reasons. Get off where it's okay for you. Meaning, so this is what I'm trying to say, just so it makes sense. Maybe the 1st floor is 2 phone calls, right? Maybe the 2nd floor is 5 phone calls. Maybe the 10th floor is 20 phone calls. Maybe the 17th floor is 40 phone calls. Just get off on the floor that's for you. Don't worry about the other floors. If you can start off with 2 phone calls and you're sharing it with 2 people, that's where you start. Don't think about $1 million. Think about what you need now, right? Think about, hey, I could sure use an extra $300-400 to pay this off. Then focus on how you make that $300-400. I guarantee you, if you go to Mr. Bean and you tell Mr. Bean, I just need to know how to make $400. What is the quickest way for me to? He'll show you a plan on how to make those $400 like this. If your plan is to make 10,000, he'll show you a plan how to make those 10,000. He'll meet you where you're at. He'll try to stretch you. That's his job as a leader. Our job is to stretch you, to push you. But it's okay to start where you're at. So don't think about the millions of dollars. Don't think about the hundreds of phone calls. Just start. Listen to me. Just start. Just head in the right direction. Take that first step, right? And I'll even add this. Even though my training was mostly about Zetta, if you're not excited about Zetta, don't fake it. Maybe you're more excited about solar. Maybe you're more excited about getting people clean drinking water. Maybe you're more excited about the trading platform. That's okay. If you don't want to do anything with Zetta, pick your passion inside of Build. Find your lane and just go down that path, but take action, right? Just take action. Just start where you're at and do something. It's okay. See, people put this stigma around the word average, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with the word with average. I think everybody starts in life below average. and then we get to average, right? And then our goal is to go savage, right? But you can't go savage without being average. So just start with some average activity. Just pick up the phone and call one person today if that's where you're at. Maybe you're on a different floor, you call 50 people, but just start where you're at. And I just wanted to add that because I just really want to touch everybody on this call, right? If you are just looking to make a couple $100, we're here for you. This opportunity is here for you. If you're chasing $50,000 a month, we're also here for you. Mr. Bean will show you how to do that. But don't get overwhelmed with hearing, millions of dollars and 6 figures a month. And, I have to do 4 Zooms and 40 phone calls in a day. I guarantee you when I started in this industry, I was not making 40 phone calls or 4 Zooms a day. I wasn't. I was scared to pick up the phone. The phone weighed 1,000 pounds because I was scared of what people would think. What are you involved in? You don't even know anything about that. You work at a cell phone store. What are you talking to me about business? You've never had a business. You don't come from a business background. So I was afraid to get judged, right? So for me, I was excited. If I just got on the phone and talked to 2 people, I felt like, man, I was productive today, right? It grows over time. Don't let what I'm doing today rob you of what you can do because you're comparing yourself to my activity. It's not fair to you. Don't do that. Just like Mr. Bean has made millions of dollars, and he's made a lot more than I have in this industry. But if I sit here and I start comparing myself to him or to his journey, I'm robbing myself of the opportunity and the hours that I have to put in. So I'm okay with my journey. I'm going to start where I'm at and just take action moving forward and follow his lead. But I'm not comparing myself to him. I want to emulate him, but his journey's his journey. My journey's my journey. Your journey's your journey. So I just want you to really think about that. And just wanted to share that with you. But Mr. Bean, I forgot your original question. I apologize. You wanted me to, I told you I never let the topic get in the way of what I really want to say. What was your international?
There you go. There you go.
So, international is this: mentors have taught me you want to build outside your backyard.
Real quick. Hey guys, don't try this at home. So don't try this at home. It'll be an epic fail if you do this at home. Don't try this at home. Back to you, sir.
Thank you. So a mentor of mine said you have to build outside your backyard, right? So what's our backyard? We start in our neighborhood. We start with our family and our friends. We start with our city. We start with our state. We start with a few other states. We start with the United States where we live. But we now live in an international economy, right? The world is connected like never before because of social media, right? I don't want to get political, but isn't it crazy how on the news, it's like every decision that they're making here or every decision that they make in another country is somehow intertwined, right? If you go around your house and you look where everything's made, most of it is made in other countries. It's just all intertwined, right? But let's not get so complicated. Let's just go with this. If there's internet in other countries, that means that they also have routers too. Real simple, right? So doesn't matter what language they speak, doesn't matter what they look like, right? If they have a router, they will also appreciate faster Wi-Fi speeds and a farther reach of Wi-Fi signal. And then you add, hey, maybe now you can earn some rewards. Let that box that you plugged in have the potential to earn you some profits versus the box that you have plugged in right now doesn't do any of that for you. That's it. Those are the 3 things. So whether it's where I live in Chicago, whether it's where you're at, whether it's in Colombia, whether it's in, South Africa, whether it's in Australia, whatever, Mexico, whatever market you're going into, if they're using internet and they have a router or a modem, they can use Zeta. Now, let me just make a disclaimer, because it is business that we're talking about. The rollout into other countries do have underlying factors like licenses and permits. So you might want to check with your leadership, with your upline leadership, and they could check for you to see maybe that's a market you should concentrate on right now. I would still drop the seed. I would still plant the seed because we're going to get there sooner than later. But there might be some markets that they'll tell you, look, we got the go ahead and the green light to roll out in these 5 markets. So I would attack those markets first. But the same way you would offer Zeta to somebody here is the same way you would offer it to somebody on an international level. And now you're not only earning rewards in your time zone, but now, as I fell in love with, is I love being able to earn in different time zones, right? Because when I'm awake in other time zones, people are sleeping. But then when I'm sleeping in other time zones, people are awake. And if they happen to be on my team or they were introduced to an opportunity because of me, we're all earning rewards, right? They're earning rewards while they're awake. I'm earning rewards while I'm sleeping. That's why you want to go international. They're speaking other languages and reaching people that I maybe can't reach. But because I introduced them to it, they're going to go and introduce it to their people. And you can benefit from all that. So international is just the way you want to go. You need to think globally, think big, right? Think big picture. You want to have people on your team that you can't understand what they're saying without Google Translator, right? If you've gotten to that point where you have people on your team that speak other languages you can't understand, you're heading in the right direction. So international is just bigger. If you're thinking just your city, great, but that's small. You want to play big. Don't cheat yourself. That's how I see international. It's just a bigger picture, bigger opportunity, and more people that you can reach. So
Yeah, and another thing is when you look at the mentality, when you build internationally, one, you have a lot of lazy devices here in America. Yeah, we call it welfare. We call it Section 8 housing, government assistance. You get a lot of things here that put people in a position where, and then you get millions of opportunities. You get opportunity to death here. A lot of stuff originates here. So the economy is on your side. You got a lot of things that put you in a passive position. When you're in third world countries and other countries outside the U.S., it's work or famine. It's like you really have to hustle, or or you don't eat and family don't eat. And so when you look at the opportunities that come to a lot of people in other countries, especially when they're coming from America, a lot of people wouldn't move here for the American dream if they could live the American dream in their own country on their own soil.
they're hungry for an opportunity.
Exactly. And so, people who used to like to have times of change based on the internet now, people don't have to lose their lives coming across the border, to get here to feed their families. They can do it literally from, the comfort of their own home. Nobody wants to pack up and leave Venezuela or Cuba or Colombia or Puerto Rico, Puerto Vallarta, whatever, all these other countries, Africa, and come here just now to make money when they can do it from the comfort of home. But when they get that opportunity, they work harder on that opportunity than most people here in the United States of America.
Yep.
I'm telling you. And so, and they also work smarter, they work harder, they work together. They create the vision, and they show you how we can take this money and we can build this village out to a town, or build this town out to a city, or build a city out to something where we can become a tourist destination. We can start putting up resorts and stuff. This little thing that the people look at here in America as a little thing, as a little deal, or as something that we can just pitch or talk about, is the world to people outside of your backyard. Just telling you, you find the right people, outside of the country, and you're gonna go through the numbers just like you're gonna go through the numbers here. Um, and you find the right people, and then you get those people in the right mindset, and they're ready to rock and roll. Those people can change not just their lives, but they can definitely change yours too. I've seen people from when we were in coffee who never made $100,000 a month, made over 4 million a year, and by their fifth year, right? And I've seen that same person go back to Honduras and open up schools, build subdivisions, build a church, and his mom was the first person to have a brand new SUV and running water in the village. You know what I'm saying? He went back and bought the coffee, the coffee, the land that they pick coffee beans on. It's 3 generations of coffee bean pickers. He went back and bought that coffee bean farm.
Wow.
based off of the coffee that he was selling with us. You
Wow.
know, another guy who was in Tijuana, Mexico, who had nothing. He was an engineer. You know, he probably made $600 a month, US. Right, turned around and made 150. He was making 150 grand a month in coffee with us, and he went back home and was buying all different types of Pizza Hut, McDonald's. He opened up all kind of different franchises in Tijuana in his backyard. Right, made a flat out fortune. You know, $150,000 a month here, but he was hungry. Okay, I know so many different people, you know, that are from. I just got back from San Diego talking to one of my friends who came over, had a whole lot of nothing, and did business to the point to where now he has his own company. You know, he has, I think, 5,000 people in his affiliate program. You know, that all they do is trading, and it's a really really big affiliate program that stretches multiple countries, mostly Latino based countries, but stretches most of the countries. But now he's taken that also the revenue, and he's parlayed that into a a construction company here in the United States of America that builds, you know, homes, and a construction company and that builds, um, you know, property management and construction company that builds over in Tijuana and Mexico, condominiums, high rises, and buildings, right? And so again, it starts with them recognizing that there's a major opportunity, but they were tied to people who can help them get there. They took the mentorship, they took the coaching, and they took advantage of an opportunity, right? To be the one that the opportunity chose. Right? And so when you look at those people, they were in the same place at the same exact time as hundreds of thousands of people, but they chose themselves, and the opportunity chose them. That's why I said what we're about to do with Zeta, what we're about to do with Omni, what we're about to do with the company, period. Everybody has an opportunity, right, to participate, but it's going to be the person who takes advantage of the opportunity and gets what they're looking for, not necessarily 7 figures, but they get what they're looking for. Like Fabian said, if you're just looking for $5,000 a month, if that's what success looks like for you, it, you're at the right place at the right time. You just got to be the right person. But when you go outside the country, I'm just telling you, and you link up with the right people, and you support them, and you show them love, and you're there for them, and you build with them, and you grind with them, everything can change.
You know, Mr. Bean,
Everything can change.
that's so impactful. And if it's okay, I just want to share kind of like
Mm,
a thought that I had here. It's kind of funny to me. When you were talking about being hungry,
mm,
it's funny because one of my favorite mentors is Mr. Les Brown,
mm.
and I realized hungry is not enough. You got to be hungry, right?
No.
Like he says it, right? He says
Right.
it's a different type of hunger, right? You got to be
Right,
hungry is the way he
right,
says it.
right, right.
And it reminds me of like when I first started in this industry, in the direct sales industry, network marketing industry. It reminds me that I had one of my best friends, right? And it used to hurt a little bit.
Mm,
He was like probably like my best friend. But we had a lot in common. But when it came to business and the stuff that we wanted out of life, I think that we differed a little bit.
mm,
And I remember like first starting like in sales and in this industry, and he would see me like talking to people about it, or I would have to like make some phone calls. And I remember he would just disregard it and be like, "Man, why are you being so thirsty?" He's like, "You're being thirsty
right,
because I'm following up with people and I'm talking to
right.
people." And it would hurt me when he would say that. I feel embarrassed. I'm like, "Oh, I'm being thirsty, like I'm being desperate," right?
Mm,
And then he would always be like, "Man, quit being thirsty." And then he would tell my other friends, Fabian's being thirsty. He's so thirsty, right?
mm-hmm,
And it was like a bad word. It was like stigma.
mm-hmm,
As I started getting more personal development and I started realizing, you know what? I am thirsty
mm,
and I'm also hungry.
mm-hmm.
And then I got hungry, like Les Brown said, right? And I said, there's nothing wrong with being thirsty and being
Right.
hungry. But
Mm-hmm.
at the beginning, it would make me feel embarrassed. It would make me feel like, man, yeah, I guess I don't want to be thirsty, right? I don't want to come off as thirsty. And then I just realized there's nothing wrong with that. You want people that are hungry, right? You
Mhm.
want people that have that burning fire inside of them.
Yeah.
And then one thing I'll just throw in there that kind of coincides with this is I realized, because I've had business and network marketing, but then I've also had your traditional businesses, right?
Mhm.
I've realized that I spend a lot of my time trying to motivate people. But you know what's more effective and gets you to where you want to go faster? Don't find people you have to motivate.
Mhm.
Find motivated people,
Mhm.
right? Because now they're not running because of you. They're running because of them. They're
Mhm.
just running beside you, right?
Mhm.
So I realized real quick, you got to find people that are really hungry, and you
Mhm.
got to find people that are motivated. Yeah, once in a while it's okay to motivate people,
Mhm.
but just run with motivated people, right?
Mhm.
But anyway, I just wanted to add that. I just remembered my friend telling me I was thirsty, and I was just like, man, it's okay to be thirsty. It's okay to be. I'm still thirsty.
Mhm. No, that and the crazy part about it is that, what happens is also when people what I found in my journey is that when people do that, what they're doing now is deflecting. What they're doing now is trying to get you to calm down, slow down, so you don't make them look bad and expose them.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true.
And then they recruit help. Hey man, look at Fabian over there. Bro, why you telling this man look at Fabian over there? Now all of a sudden you got another negative person looking at Fabian, and both of y'all now singing the same negative song, and they trying to steal your dream.
Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of people, and sometimes people don't even know they're doing it. Like I said, it could be as innocent as all outdoors, but it's also something that's in them that's saying, "Hey, look out! He's trying to he's about to blow you out. He's about to expose you. He's about to make you look really, really bad. He's about to leave you and like got grass growing under your feet. But do something about it." And so that do something about it is not working with you and grinding and competing with you is basically now attacking you and doing it the exact but in a toxic way.
Yeah.
And so, and like I said, you have a lot of not self-imposed, stigmas, a lot of externally imposed stigmas that happen from you guys because again, people can't see with their physical eyes, and they also can't see with their third eye, right? But if you see it and you say it, and they don't comprehend it. Now that's when you set yourself in a situation where now you're outside the box, and that's where you leave everybody in the box. Don't pay attention to the chatter. If they're not talking positive, cut them off. This is a time where even if you love them, this is where you put them on a hiatus and kind of get away from them because you're in one of the most important times of your career right now. Because, like I said, even if it's not Zeta for you, it's what Zeta represents for the company. Zeta represents extreme visibility for the company. So people all around the world is going to see build, period. And well, when they double back, say, you know what, this thing's gotten real big. I can take Bill serious for solar now. I can take Bill serious for alkaline water now. I can take Bill serious for merchant account processing now. I can take it's what it represents. If you ever notice, nobody bought anything from Apple until Apple blew up, right? Nobody was putting Apple above Hewlett Packard or any of these other companies that are out there before Apple. But everybody took Apple serious once Apple blew up, and now all of a sudden, Apple can sell anything to everybody out of their ecosystem,
Yeah.
right? So Zeta again is going to give you. Then you want to pitch it, promote it, and get it out there. But even if Zeta's not your thing, coffee was my thing, but I needed coffee to get rich, and I use it to get rich. It ain't got to be your thing, but if it's something like what's my man Warren Buffett said, yeah, who cares about what you like? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you take what you like, put it on the shelf, and you take what everybody else is willing to pay for, and you make it your business, and then you go back to what you like and live the rest of your life happy, right? A, a lot of us get caught up, in us, right? And when you look at that frame of mind where it's got to be my way or the highway, it's got to be what I love, it's got to be my passion. The product doesn't have to be your passion, right?
Yeah.
Extra could be a passion.
Yeah.
Getting that extra $500 a month can be a passion
Yeah.
because of what that extra $500 a month means, right? Just extra 5,000 could be your passion. The thing doesn't have to be the passion.
Yeah.
The result can be the passion. But getting out of foreclosure, repossession, and bankruptcy was my damn passion. It wasn't the coffee. I'm telling you, the people who I owed all that money to, and my 6 month pregnant wife didn't give a damn about anything except for getting out of that situation. So what I'm gonna say, no, baby, you're gonna have to have this baby, and we're gonna be po broke, and because I can't find nothing I'm passionate about to build.
Yeah.
No, mortgage broker is like, hey, bro, you 6 months behind. We need 15,000. Automobile people who looking for my car that I was hired, they was like, hey, bro, look, you 4 payments behind. Give us the car or give us our money. No, man, y'all gotta wait till I figure out what I want to do. Y'all gotta wait till I figure out what I'm passionate about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Let me get my stuff together, and then no, the world is not gonna slow up so you can catch up. Big boy, big girl talk right now. Nobody cares.
Man, that's so true. That is so true.
So, but the one thing I do care about is your time, my friend. I appreciate you, man. You've invested and poured into, the people today, and we don't take it lightly. And they know I don't invite anybody to talk to them. So, because it's not that I don't think nobody else is qualified. I am very selective about who I introduce my family to. And so, we've been friends, like I said, since we met each other. My wife loves you. I love you. I trust you. I appreciate you. Got a lot of respect for you. You and your humility, bro. It's an uncommon thing in this industry that we're in. And the majority of people who are in this industry who've had any level of success, not even half of yours, have egos that are unbearable, and it's hard to deal with. But for a man like yourself, your caliber, I appreciate you for investing your time in our team and our family this week. And y'all need to come off. I need y'all to come off of mute and do what you do.
I appreciate you, Mr. Bean.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you,
Thank you so
Fabian.
much.
Mr. Bean, that was awesome.
Thank you so
Fabian,
much.
thank you.
Very much.
Transformative.
Thank you so much. It's transformational. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to everybody for allowing me
Thank you.
to share this call with you. And Mr. Bean, along with Mrs. Bean, I do anything for the Bean family. It's an honor. It's an honor to be able to just rub elbows with you and to be able to share some of my time with your team. You guys don't understand. I think I got more out of this call than you guys did. It's just so amazing to see everybody on this call and show up for yourselves and go out there and do what I know you guys are capable of. So I love it. Thank you to all of you, and Mr. Bean, thank you so much. So
Thank
big
you.
guy.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
All right, guys. We're gonna turn you back
Thank
over to
you.
Dave Fabian. Appreciate you. And ladies and gentlemen, so what we'll do is this, we really did get fed today. And you guys really did, reward yourselves for showing up because again, people who needed to hear this, again, they're not here, right? And so the most important training in the world is the one that you always miss. And so I'm praying for the people who missed this one because I'm telling you there's a lot of gems dropped, a lot of gold nuggets dropped. And so so for what we got to do right now, guys, we got to suit up again, close out the month strong. Make sure we're on purpose because remember we're building a business, we're building something special, and we need those numbers back on the books. Make sure you guys again going back to your subscriptions, find the zeros, and do your follow ups with the people who have those zeros. Make sure that they are aware because a lot of those people are unplugged. Okay, a lot of those people not following up. They're just expecting the subscriptions to run. Make sure that they get those back on the books. But let's make sure also, guys, that when you look at Zeta, one thing that a lot of you guys don't know is when you go back to what Mr. Navarro said. We talked about this, and I'm excited about this part. That everybody who gets a Zeta box, they get a free position for 30 days, which means that 199 is waived. So they're not just getting, the box; they're getting access to a membership. Right? And I'm gonna say, don't when you talk about the business and you talk about the membership, I prefer you talk about the membership, okay, over the business because once they get that box and they order it, and then all of a sudden let them know, hey, look, we now have a special right now where or promotion right now where you have access to our membership club. Right. And now since you have access to this membership club, it's 30 days, it's 199 down and 99 a month. But since you bought this box, that 199 is waived. And if you want to continue on the membership, next month it'll be $99 going forward. But let me share with you what you get when it comes to this membership. Okay. We have travel. Okay. And when you look at the travel aspect of what we got, guys, if you travel a lot, and you look at these discounts that we're getting, you might save $1,200, in 2 or 3 trips. Okay. And so being a part of this travel club, using our curated trips, discounted hotels, resorts, and you get a free vacation, every year on your anniversary, once a year, that may be worth you staying on this membership. Also, you have, the Smart Money Club. You get access to help when it comes to your credit and your business credit. You get help when it comes to the financial advice. You get help when it comes to all these other things. Also, anything that you buy from our catalog, you don't just get that actual service that you're buying. Because you're a member, the commission that would have went to someone that's actually in the company who would have sold it to you, you now get that commission, like on solar. So if you buy solar from us, directly from us, you get your portion of the commission. You buy water from us for yourself, you get your portion of the commission. So, we're going to start, guys, right now, wrapping your mind around how valuable the membership is to an individual who's buying that box. Okay. Let them know. Let them know. Work on that value. Work on that value. Work on that value. And then the last part is this: 20. When you look at the amount of phone calls that Fabian said he made, I want to share some with you guys. Let's say he made 30 phone calls to 40 phone calls. And let's just say some of you guys we just take it back down, and we go and you just make 15 to 20 phone calls a day. That's what it took, 15 to 20 minutes worth of phone calls a day. That may be 3 to 5 phone calls. If it's 3 to 5 phone calls, that means it's 15 to 25 phone calls a week if you're doing it on a 5 day work week, right? 15 to 25. So that's 60 to 100 a month. Okay. You get 20 people to buy a box from 60 to 100. That means that now you have 20 people who have a free membership for 30 days. Okay. You get those 20 people, right, to continue to stay on, that membership. That's Builder 500. Oh, so see that, there you go, MJ. There you go. There you go. So, like I said, it's always math involved. Math is in everything, right? And so now again, learning how to go out there and talk about Zeta in a way that it gives you benefits, but talk about it to so many people that it gives you structure and security and stability, right? That using Zeta to get the Builder 500, like I said, some of you guys are going to see people in this company, okay, that don't even have their 4. They don't have their pay, like they didn't get their 4 and pay no more, like Dr. Arlene or like Angel or like Idris or like Landon or like some other people like Sabrina and Eddie, people who have their 4s and they're not paying anymore, right? But those same people, based on how many boxes they sell and how many people they retain on the membership afterwards, are going to go straight past getting their 4 to paying no more to Builder 500, Builder 1000, Builder 2000. You'll see that happening in 30 days and 60 days. You will see that. I promise you, take my word for this. It's going to happen. It's in the make right now. Like Ken Francis is literally like he's putting posts up every day, having phone calls every day, with people every day. Like we had to get his link up to where it would start showing a duplicatable, and we found out what the problem was, why it wasn't showing the discounted rate, right? And so once we got that, because he had so many people in his inbox saying, "Hey, send me the information, send me the link, send me the information, send me the link," and people like that, again, you're gonna have people who, boom, they're gonna sell a lot of boxes, but they're gonna have enough magic in the pipeline with those boxes, using the system to help people stay on those memberships, that it'll be Builder 500, Builder 1000 right away, almost overnight. So use this to create your next story. Use this energy, this momentum, this place that we're at right now, guys, to do something huge. And give me 1 second. Let's see here. Yeah. Um, so when it comes to also a lot of people who are trading, remember trading is very, very big right now around the world. right? Trading is huge universally. So they're going to need, because one of the worst things that can happen when it comes to a trader is that the internet goes down or Wi-Fi slows up or whatever, and you're in or Dr. Arlene, you like that? I'm just telling you this is where you double dip. Okay, this is what I'm just telling you. This is the money side of me. This is the ecosystem. When the ecosystem goes all the way live, and you can sell one thing based off of another thing, and now you start to create these mini bundles, right? Traders, they can lose 100% of everything. Okay, not something. They can lose 100% of everything if that system shuts down, internet goes away, everything, and you have zero control. You don't want that to ever happen. So now, when you offering people this faster Wi-Fi speed and this more broader area where now they want to be outside the pool and trade instead of being in the house in the office cooped up behind a desk, they can do that, right? And so keep that in your mind when Omni launches. It's going to be right after the Zeta, right? It's coming right after the Zeta. The Wi-Fi, I mean the app, the trading app, it's coming right after the Zeta. So again, make sure we're focusing on these things. So those of you who have your box, who are in Houston or traveling to Houston, make sure you RSVP with Mrs. Bean. Make sure you send her a screenshot of your receipt, and she'll let you know if we still have more space available. So those seats will fill up fast. We will create some marketing material, for Wednesday. So, it's Wednesday. So, and for those of you who are coming into town, come into town on Tuesday. That way, you can go to the event on Tuesday night, right? And then you can go to the other event on Wednesday. So you can have within 24 hours, you can have enough content and material, to go out here and really kick some things into high gear. So, with that, guys, I'll let you guys give you a chance. Some of you guys to have breakfast and get yourselves together. I know Mr. Navarro will be on, at 12 o'clock Central Standard Time, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So don't want you guys to miss that. And that's going to be a nice little 35, 45-minute, power pack call as well. So we'll see you guys at the top, see you guys at the bank, and see you guys on the beach. And I'll see most of you guys at 12 o'clock. Take care, guys. Enjoy your weekends.
Thank you, Mr. Bain.
That's
Thank you, Mr. Bean.
appreciate you.